Hello and welcome to the AI Frontier. I'm Juliana Nunez and I am beyond excited about today's episode because we have a very special guest joining us. Her name is Trish O'Keeffe and she is someone I deeply admire. Trish has spent nearly 30 years in the IT industry, taking on leadership roles in just about every corner of the tech world. She's been a sales manager, an IT manager, operations manager, services manager, and now she serves as the director of Microsoft Alliance at Inside Canada. Now, that's an incredible career journey, and it speaks a wealth of experience. Now, beyond the impressive resume, I want to share something personal. So Trish has been an amazing mentor to me. She's often the first person to nudge me and say, hey, have you tried this with Copilot? Have you shared your story, your win? Whenever I'm facing some sort of challenge or a question, she's able to send me in the right direction. So Trish is actually the one that's been encouraging me to push my boundaries and leverage AI in new ways. So I have to give her credit for really sparking my enthusiasm for using AI. She's continually pushed me to do more with these tools, and it's made a huge difference in how I work and learn. So giving her passion for innovation and her breadth of experience, it's truly an honor to have her on today's episode. So today, we're going to tap into Trish's insights on our theme, AI as a growth engine for Canadian businesses. We'll talk about how AI is changing the way that we work, how Canadian companies are embracing it, and what the future holds. I can't wait to dive into these topics. Trish, thank you so much for joining us on the AI Frontier, and welcome to the podcast. So I'd love to start with you personally. Trish, how has AI changed the way that you work day to day?
You're really kind, Juliana. So thank you very much for all those nice words. It really is a pleasure working with you. You are super passionate and really want to push the boundaries of things that can get done. So thank you for that from both inside and from me. How has AI changed what I do? What I love about what we're learning now, we're seeing it everywhere where people are getting let go from jobs. So it falls on the rest of the people who are left to have to do a little bit more with a whole lot less. And AI is really making that more accessible. You don't have to have a 24/7 always on type of job anymore. You can have a work-life balance. I use it for both my work and I use it for my bike, for my life. I needed some repairs on my bike. So I asked Gemini and Gemini told me exactly how to fix it and it saved me a bunch of money. So that was on a personal level, that really helped me. Obviously, every call we do at Insight Now or any calls we do, particularly with clients or with partners, we throw Copilot on. We walk through. I can send off a resume of the meeting right afterwards. 6 months short of retiring, so my memory isn't so great. I have pretty cool prompts that I can go in and say, hey, what happened over this week and what have I forgotten to do? Who do I owe what to? And when do I owe it? And it's super helpful. There's somebody I work with who came up with this Einstein matrix, which is pretty cool. Tells you this is important, get this done. This is not so important, you can probably forget it, which is one thing off my list. So these are the things kind of day to day that I use it for, but I see elsewhere with other companies how they get really creative with what they're doing with AI and how they're leveraging it, particularly in the resources industry, mining and things like that, where they have millions of data points that either are going to talk to the environment or people's safety or physical breakdowns of equipment, all of that data coming in AI to quickly parse all that data and give them relevant information really quickly is where, for us at Insight right now, that's where we're seeing the biggest impact.
Yeah, that's amazing because there's not just one use case or one industry. It really can be used for many different use cases, many different industries. So that's really cool. It's really amazing to hear how AI has really woven into your daily routine. I can definitely, the memory thing, I'm with you. I'm not retiring in 6 months, but my memory's not great. So I definitely use it for that too. So you've talked about how obviously it's impacted your day-to-day work. Was there a moment when you started using AI where you realized, wow, this is going to be really transformative for myself?
See it for me, and I see it with the other departments. A big Excel guru, and I can do a lot with Excel, but it's typically either trial and error, or I have to go kind of figure out what's a good I don't know, VLOOKUP or some Excel. Now I just have to put the two files up or whatever I need. Okay, take a look at this. Tell me what's missing from 2026 that was there in 2025. Tell me like what numbers I should be looking at quickly. So I love it on that note. I'm also not a detail person. So if I get a really, really long document like an RFP or something that I really do need to put my focus onto, it's not my strength. So I use AI to review the document. We have internally at legal, we have a list of all the things that would be red flags. They're all listed out. A new document comes in, it's going to call out those red flags right away. Lawyers like to read all those big documents and they like the details, but it's good to be able to flag it quickly because it's a good use of time to be able to flag those quickly and not have to put your glasses on and use your eyesight and to try to figure out, is this going to be a problem or is it not going to be a problem? So I see it now. I'm an AI champ for Canada, and I get to work with all of the other groups, and I've started to see how how the mundane work is going away, and the really focused, I need to do this because this is my job work, has come to the forefront, getting rid of kind of that administrative mundane work. It's not taking jobs away internally. It's making what you do more impactful to the client or to whatever your department is. It really is making your job a little bit easier, but what your core skill set is what's coming to the forefront now, which is a nice difference.
I love that. Making what you do more impactful. I absolutely love that. So, zooming out a bit, let's talk about the bigger picture. So, from your perspective, how are Canadian businesses approaching AI today? Are you seeing companies here embrace it, like really enthusiastically, or are they being more cautious? What's the general vibe in Canada around AI adoption?
It's an interesting question, and I don't see any one industry into it more than others. Like it's still fairly new, and it's still just my lens at this, and then what we read. The legal firms, there are some that are totally buy into it, understand it, want to go deeper, and then like the first bad story about ChatGPT was a lawyer who used it for a brief, and it was so then other legal firms are really nervous about it. So there's a sense of, oh, this is great, or oh, I better be really, really careful. The things that we're seeing, the biggest is a skills gap, and thankfully we're addressing that at Insight. As you know, we have Flight Academy. So people, if you use it regularly, you learn what to be nervous about and what just is a quick win, and you're just going to go ahead with it. And that's kind of the thing, is the quick wins. Like I said, we have a few projects in the mining industry where they're really benefiting from it. We have for sure the legal industry, the retail industry. The retail industry, I mean, that's how Target did so well in the US was mining information and taking advantage of it. A lot of it, but there's the skills gap, there's governance, and so that has to be set up. And we learned at Insight, even as a technology company, data is everything, and how clean your data is. AI doesn't at this point know how to add properly. What's an important number? What isn't? What's a 2026 number? What's a 2025 number? What's a 2019 number? As we all know, we're hoarders of multiple versions of the same file.
Yeah.
So you can't really ask AI to know which file is the most important. So you really do have to be continuously cleaning your data. And so those are the things that we're seeing, the barriers to entry. A little bit of a skills gap. There's a governance. How do I govern it? What do I govern? How do I secure my data? And how do I even present my data in a way that AI can read it? Because AI is really my admin. I have to tell and it'll learn, okay, yesterday I told you to use this file. Okay, today you know to use this file. Now, what part of the file today do you need to use? So it's like having a really, really great, super enthusiastic assistant, but you have to stem it down and tell these how to use it as they learn day by day. And so that's what we're seeing. There are industries who are more or less in, but it's still fairly new. So it's not a everybody in legal is using it or everybody in mining is using it. These are just some of the things that we're seeing with the customers that we're dealing with right now. But there's
Right.
always a let's do a pilot before we get into it.
Right, right. So it's almost good that there is a little bit of caution to ensure that they're taking the necessary steps before going all in, without the proper skilling, without the proper governance. So yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, building on that, what unique challenges or opportunities do you see in the Canadian market compared to global trends? In other words, how might Canada's AI journey look different from the rest of the world?
I can see it from the lens of Insight Canada versus Insight Europe versus Insight US versus Asia Pacific. We're smaller, kind of, and more nimble. So I think Canada has a unique opportunity in just that ability to be nimble, to be able to take advantage of things and make like a really quick no rather than a kind of a really long maybe or a really quick yes. Small wins, which is a little bit easier for us. We're not world shatterers, if by any imagination sense of the imagination. But like I say, my lens is really it's what I read and what I see as a working for a global business. The ability for Canadians, we often wear 3, 4 hats for the same role that maybe, I mean, just the scale of the US really is 1 hat per business unit. We can wear 3, 4 so we can see things from a different lens. And again, I feel like we're a little more nimble. So we can see, make a mistake, step back, jump back in again, try a different way. And this is, again, just my view working for a global company.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Those are really insightful points about what makes Canada's situation a little bit special. So let's get into business impact. So, in the work you've been doing, where are you seeing the most tangible growth from AI adoption right now? Any particular industries or use cases that stand out to you as a real success story?
From what I'm seeing now, like I say, the elements of resource companies where they have millions of endpoints that are collecting data. So we're seeing a real impact there. I mean, the number one impact that we're seeing internally is just the ability to take the notes and understand tone in a call if you have Copilot and you're recording and transcribing. I talk from the Microsoft lens because that's what we use.
Yeah.
I've used Gemini and I love that too. And there are many, many Notebook LM. There are many that you can use. I'm talking from what we use internally and what I use day to day. So the biggest impact for day to day work is really, what are my tasks? What did I miss? I walked away for a second, or I multitasked and I missed what that was, and it was meant for me. So in the end, I get that task. As far as the industries, again, still for us, it's early days. So we've done projects within the legal industry. We've done projects within the retail industry. We've done projects within the resource and mining industry. So we're seeing pockets of goodness. Big bang for me, again, personally, I really do not or cannot focus long enough on long, long documents. So the ability to kind of resume everything that needs to be done or what specifically affects me, helps me in my day to day. And I'm sure there's a lot of people like that who get that value from it. We're certainly seeing it in our legal department.
Yeah, no, for sure. And just along with what you said, I've also had the experience where, maybe on days that I'm really busy and I don't have the time to go through everything because I got, back-to-back meetings, it does allow me to just take a quick moment, review what's absolutely urgent, and then, move on to my meetings while still being able to action those things that needed to be actioned. So yeah, absolutely. With all the buzz that's around AI, and obviously, not every project is going to yield results. In your view, how can organizations focus on AI initiatives that deliver real impact rather than just experimenting for the sake of experimenting? Like, how do leaders make sure that their AI investments truly pay off?
That's an interesting question, and I again, my lens is internal. The work that we've done to enhance the skills internally is making a big difference. So we get to see what's important by department simply by the prompts that they're sharing. We have a celebration page where individual teammates can talk about some of the ways that they've saved time slash money slash frustration by using AI. So little wins that grow on each other is where we're seeing the biggest bang for our buck. Somebody wrote a prompt that helps them, they call it their vacation lifeline, that helps them know what they missed while they were away on vacation. And so we talk about it internally and it's okay, so I know what I missed while I was away on vacation, but what if somebody was on a meeting representing me with one of my clients? Can I go access that meeting and the notes from the meeting and add that to
Yeah.
what it is I missed during vacation? So I'm not spending the first 2 days of 2 weeks off, after 2 weeks off, trying to catch up. I get a really quick resume of where I have to catch up, and then I can kind of hit the ground running. And that's kind of back to my talking about having to do more with less. The faster that you can catch up on what you missed, the more you could be moving forward with your whatever your daily routine is, as
Yeah.
opposed to kind of stand still because you don't really know what happened. Those are quick wins. Some of the things that we see internally on how to clean your data, we're using AI for that as well. Again, quick wins, but I'm not we have everything categorized. So there's no very little governance uh, around what somebody could build themselves, a quick prompt, and then share it with people. The category 2 is going to take a little bit more work. So we try to balance what's a big bang and what's a whole bunch of quick wins so that
Yeah.
people learn, grow, and then want more. And so that's
Yeah.
where we're balancing it. Again, my view is very internal. That's where we're balancing it internally so that we can take a look at AI and we can say, hey, we've really made progress with it.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think that that's genius what you said. I think a lot of organizations, they're like, okay, we're going to invest in this AI and it's just going to be this massive, we're going to get like
Right.
such incredible successes. And they have this idea of how it's going to be. But you're absolutely right. Like, it's about having small wins and then piling them on top of each other. And that's when you see the real impact. So thank you for sharing that because that's so true. What AI trends do you think will drive the next wave of Canadian growth for organizations? So what should we be watching for in the coming years?
Big question there. I know what I know. What I'm seeing internally, I think where we want to go with AI is making us take a step back. So, seriously looking at our data, seriously looking at the security, internal and external, so that what we do will have an impact. So, I think that the growth of AI will help us stabilize our foundations, both with
Mm,
security and data. So I feel like for the next little while, it's going to be a little bit hesitated simply because you realize quickly where you're vulnerable. But once companies recognize this, certainly embrace the cloud, embrace what needs to stay internal, I think we're going to start seeing some fairly large jumps and changes in the way we behave simply because AI is here. It's here to stay.
yeah.
It's not going away. So we do have to ensure the foundations are really, really good. And I feel like that's going to be in my opinion, I feel like that's gonna be what's gonna happen in the next little while, is really making sure that we stabilize the foundation so we can take advantage of all of that, all of this greatness that's gonna come with AI. It's not again, I say this fairly often, people are really tired of hearing it from me, but you're not gonna lose your job to AI, but you will lose your job to somebody who really understands AI, because it really is a level up when you can use AI to do the mundane stuff or even prepare for the important next leap. But you really do need to understand it, and internally upskilling your people is it's the best gift you can, and investing in yourself in learning AI, it's the best gift you can give to yourself or to the teammates and employees. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% agree. And this thing you're mentioning about, making sure that, we are secure. Like it's being fast-tracked essentially,
Oh my
right?
god.
Because now, you've got employees that are using it and maybe they're using tools that are not secure and they're inputting data that is company data into like some of the AI tools that are not secure, leaving some serious security gaps. And so, yeah, everybody's going to have to definitely level up. And like you said, the faster they can do that, the better
Mhm.
they can do that, the better off they'll be because they'll be ready for these better AI tools to come in the near future. So
And invest in great data scientists.
yes, absolutely. So, say I'm a business leader listening to this. I'm eager to ride the next wave. If you could give Canadian business leaders one piece of advice about embracing AI as a growth engine, what would it be? What's the one takeaway you'd want them to remember?
Definitely invest in your people learning skills. That would be, for me, that would be the most important thing. Ensure that they have access to learn and to grow and to the AI tools. So a Copilot or a Gemini, or we created our own Insight GPT that can go out to the web and search internally, but not leak data. So if you give people access to those tools and the training that goes with them and a mentor or somebody they can talk to help them build or grow their skills. We did a really good job internally with that, having a Friday upskill when we first launched Copilot. We had a Copilot expert telling us the different things that we could do and not do. So I think investing in your people and your people's skills in AI is the one thing that I believe will change the Canadian landscape.
Fantastic advice. I love that. Now, before we finish, I'm sure our listeners would appreciate some resources to continue learning or a book or a practice that you recommend to leaders who want to stay ahead with AI. Maybe something that's inspired you specifically or something that you find really valuable.
I'm just so fortunate that internally we have such it's such an important thing internally at Insight. Almost everything we need to learn, we're either doing classes, we call it Tuesday I. So we do classes with experts. Internally, we have a champion teams page, and every day there's another link to a podcast or a training. I don't have to look very far at Insight to find how to upskill myself because it comes in very quickly. It's to the point there's a lot, but my champion team is really that's who I look to for mine. I really don't have a better answer than that because I'm being fed what I need, which is why I would suggest like upskilling internally is the most important thing that Canadian people can do.
I love that. I love
Invest in
that so
yourself.
much.
Yeah.
Yep, invest in yourself. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Trish. You've shared some amazing insights and experiences with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. I know I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our listeners have too. So thank you for being part of the AI frontier.
I appreciate the time. Thank you, Juliana.
Thanks, Trish.